Please rise. Move your hats. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Pillar, would you please say a prayer for us?
We can all bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the beautiful weather that we are experiencing this time of the year, and we just pray that you oversee the events of tonight's meeting, that we can do the things we need to do on behalf of the city and our citizens to your honor and the honor of our city. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay. Reading and approval of the minutes on September 16th, please.
Make a motion to forego the reading of the minutes.
Okay, motion by Pillar. Second by Stern. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. The approval of the agenda. We are adding under 5A, mail construction. Other than that, are there any other changes to the agenda? Okay. There's no others. I have such a motion.
Move to approve with the addition of 5A.
Okay. Motion by Stern.
Second.
Second by Pillar. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. 5A, mail construction. Come on up.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Just kind of wanted to do a quick little update. I believe we got a list of some things that need to, more wanted us to take care of again. And part of that was, Aztec coming in and doing their cleanup after they did their chip seal. They were back in here a week and a half ago, cleaned up their area of town. I believe is everything satisfactory to you guys as far as Aztec. So I know John was here that day, but I haven't got anything back from him.
I think our general consensus is we're kind of disappointed with the cleanup effort.
With theirs?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is there some stuff that they didn't do, or I haven't heard, so he hasn't contacted
Yeah,
you?
there's just I think it was ran through as fast as possible, and looked like a lot was still remaining, to be honest, that they didn't, I don't know if they prioritized and did the high priority list, or what, there's still stuff they didn't touch. So,
Okay.
and there was the bottom of the curb or the gutter and the curb face. Some spots they did just the gutter, not the curb face. I know they tried to clean up a few spots where tar had run into certain spots, and there's chips on it that they heated that and scraped it, and it looked like they just smeared it with, so there are spots that just don't look very good. I don't know if Dave, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, the sweeping, cleaning up the debris afterwards, they did do a real good job of sweeping. We ran through with our sweeper and picked up quite a bit more, but.
Do they have one sweeper here or two, or? I know he said he's gonna have two in town, right?
I think it was one with the broom and then the actual sweeper
Oh.
or whatever, but yeah, after they left, there was still a lot of media on the streets, up in them areas. And some of those they ran across, like the gate valves and the manholes that were completely covered. They had fabric on them and sand, and what the call did was they tore it and just threw it in the valley gutter. Yeah, a lot of it they left when they chipped around, they left the lumps on the street or whatever. Or they chipped them out through the big whacks of tar and asphalt. And I know there's a couple that they didn't get to. I mean, you're not familiar with the town, I get that. But to go up there, and just rip that fabric off and throw it in the valley gutter.
I can't, answer to what they do, but I mean, when I was on the other side of that fence, when I followed those guys around, I made sure that, you pick that stuff up before you go and you clean it up to have them. Once they leave, it's very hard to get them, and to do that. But if there's more stuff that you want them to do or to clean up, I guess I'll have to talk with John.
Well, actually, during the process, I even told Dave, I said, you know what, we might as well just tell him to pack up and leave, because I just was not happy the way it was, the process was going on. But
how about the stuff in front of your house when we came and we milled that? It shaved it down.
Yeah.
It blends in,
Good.
much nicer than what it did
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I know Dave was nice enough to come over, lend us a hand with the broom because we were working out on the highway and we didn't have a broom that day, but, so thank you for that.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
The other thing that they had was the seating on, the bike path. I mean, when the weeds are coming up through that bike path, that's, 14 months after, see, that's pretty weird. But when I talked to, Trevor in the office, he said that is actually quite common down on the bike path in the bottoms of the ditches. You just gotta spray them and hit them things right away, because there wasn't really, all the water that comes off the road runs down that ditch and either goes onto that bike path or above it, but how do you get them things to, we pave, out on the highway all the time, and we'll come back, and that stuff comes right up through, on, that fresh asphalt out on the highways. The weeds are just crazy powerful. The other thing we had was the, some touch-up seating around town. Talked to John, and he gave me some indication. He said, there's only like 50% coverage around town, and, and I drove around, and, I was just counting up the spots that he had marked out there. He said there's about 50 or 60 spots. And, if you do the math, 50 or 60 spots, maybe it's 10 feet long by 2 feet, because that's all we disturbed behind the curb was about like that. That comes up to be about 133 square yards. We've seeded about 7,000. That's less than 2%. The plan quantity or the specs say that you got to have like 90% coverage, for all that to go. So I got an email from John the other day. It says, you got to come back and every, these. We're talking a bare spot about like this in some of these spots that he's got marked. To come back and seed those after, now, I mean, he had brought them up earlier, and I was like, if you don't pull some of them weeds away, they're just going to choke out some of that grass. But to have to come back and seed 50 or 60 spots that are probably like this, and it's less than 2%, my seeding guy's going to.
What about the spots that are 12 feet long?
I'm just justifying the numbers.
Sure.
Say it's 10 feet by 2 feet.
Sure.
But I just kind of went around in every spot. He said there's 50 or 60, so I did 60 spots at 10 by 2.
Yeah.
And that's only like 100 square yards, and we did like 7,000.
Yeah, it's a fraction of it. But when
It's very tiny.
When Dave Smith's yard, that's the only spot that was touched in front of his yard. He doesn't care about the other 7,000 yards that were done. He cares about what's in front of his house.
I understand.
That's the.
We're
that's
talking
what
spot by spot.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
specs don't say spot by spot. It just says 90% of the quantity. Really. I mean, we're splitting hairs there, but I just wanted to bring that up. But I got to bring a guy from across the state to come in and seed these little tiny quantity on there. He's gonna. I've already
There's
had
a local guy that has a
bunch of phone calls with him. He's pretty ticked off about it. So.
Here it is. There's a local guy that has a hydro seeding business too. Maybe I'll talk to some local that might want to do it for you instead.
We can. Usually you can't go outside of the contract.
We just want it done.
I understand. But I guess he, is that part of the contract that we, say it's 2%, we got to come back in and seed that?
Well, in front of 1 yard, it may be 100% though. That's the problem. We're going to say, okay, it's okay for your yard not to have coverage, but my yard it is. That's, I guess, yeah, if it's 90% of the job is good around the whole, the district that we chose, but when we have yards of people in their front yard or boulevard that's not covered, then what do we tell them? Well, sorry, the other 90% of the town's fine. That's a problem. That's what we're saying.
Okay.
So if it's your yard,
I get it.
You know what I'm saying.
I had this exact thing go in front of my yard.
Yeah.
I mean, they seeded mine when those weeds were sprouting. I plucked them weeds. My yard looks gorgeous.
I've got 2 spots in my yard.
My neighbors did pick
One on
weeds.
the east side on the boulevard and one on the north side. I've got an irrigation system on one side and not on the other. One side looks great, and one side looks very patchy.
Mm-hmm.
And I take care of my yard. I pull weeds. It's I don't know. I don't expect everybody to have a sprinkler system in their yard or irrigating it either. I guess we didn't really need to for most of July and August.
And the ones that do have it, they look great.
Yeah.
It all comes down to to each yard and what's out there. But it's I don't know. I'm just.
So what's your seed guide what's his solution, or he just does not want to come back?
Well, he's got a solution. I mean, he'll come in good. I tried getting like quantities from John. How much seed do we have to order? Because we have to special order that seed. And he said, well, it's like 50% of the project has 50% coverage. I said, well, what does that mean? How much do we got to order? I mean, we're gonna have to end up ordering strong, because we'd like to, leave a bag or two here with you guys in case somebody, needs some seed or whatnot. But he doesn't know how to, because he hasn't, fully come in and looked at it. You can knife in the seed and cut it in, or they can mix it real heavy with the mulch and spray it over the top there again. Seeding's a tough
Yeah.
thing. You have it in front of your yard. I mean, you baby the crap out of it, and sometimes it comes up, sometimes you got to do it over again. It's a tough thing to say the seed didn't grow and now it's your fault. I'm not trying to point blame,
Sure.
but the vast majority of it does look good. We're just talking about a few spots, but I got to have the guy come from across the state to do that. He's asking me how we're going to pay for it and whatnot. I'm like, I don't know. We can't maintain it if it doesn't come up, but there's a catch-22 there. I mean, it was put down, and in some areas it looks great, and then you move over to the next yard, and the whole yard looks full of weeds. I went around town and I took a bunch of pictures this afternoon, and there's a lot of nice looking stuff, and there are some areas, and I took a picture of one. It's a driveway. We're supposed to grow seed in there. It's all gravel.
Sure, yeah, and that's not my expectation,
But he's got it marked.
okay, well,
So I
and
would just.
obviously,
So I don't know what the right solution is. I'm just trying to, we want to get this done, but I got to get a guy in here from across the state to do it. And it's October. He's out there trying to do some seeding in other places, but.
well, I'll be honest with you, I think it was, the seed was thin. I had to reseed mine myself, before we actually come, so I think it was thin. So if you don't take care of it, it's thin, it's not gonna last, and choke out.
And that's what I watched along the street that I live up there. The ones that turned out nice, I watched those people go out there and they raked it and they reseeded themselves and they watered it, and I mean they brought it back on their own.
Okay.
And it's not a perfect solution, obviously.
Yeah.
We can't just put on hydromulch and expect beautiful lush grass to come in. I understand that too.
And I know they have some work to do on, because I talked to Jared about it, and he said, well, what do you think the solution is? Because this is not just here. It's every city project that that anybody's doing their seeding. That's the hardest thing to get to grow. It takes the longest, and that's what people see. They justify the city project on the green grass that's out in front of their yard. So I don't know what the perfect solution is. It's very tough, but I do have the guy. We're gonna get him in here. We're gonna have to do that, but
Okay.
he's gonna fit it in with his schedule and with the ugly weather and whatnot that we got this month. So
Okay, what else you got for us?
that's it. That's all I got.
Perfect. Thanks for being here, man. Any questions? Good. All right. Thank you very much. Six A, free reduced hall rent for St. Paul's Lutheran Church. 6 hours pancake, sausage, and bake sale.
Move to approve for free, hall.
Thank you, Casey. Motion by Stern,
I'll second that.
second by Pillar. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Hazen Sportsman's Club, 6B. They're doing a raffle permit and permission. And they're doing a raffle for various guns, $1,800.
He didn't have the specifics on the individual guns yet at this time because they were still working with
Joe, what?
Joel.
Okay. You guys want to approve now, or do you want to wait and see what the actual guns are?
Move to approve.
Motion by Stern,
I'll second
second by Pillar. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. All right, down to 8A. Building permit with variance from Silers. Okay, Shannon?
After our last meeting, I sent them an invoice for the fine as listed in the ordinances of $100. And also double their permit fee fine. It came to $168 and they paid it.
Okay.
So now it'll be up to you to approve it.
All right.
And that was 10-foot backyard and 4-foot side yard.
I will add to what Shannon just said that Monty and I did go over and visit with Silas and went to the backyard, looked at this location, and the building is on concrete slab and power wired to it, so moving it would be totally tearing it apart. I don't think that's the answer here. So
And the fact that there's other buildings.
yeah, and you stand in their backyard, you can see other buildings that were probably put up without permission at one point also. But there's nothing we can do about that now. So I think approving this permit would be just getting up, done and over with. They've been penalized already.
Yeah, I think that was what we discussed in our last meeting, is that you can't just brush it under the rug here. So I think there was diligence done in terms of the fines and stuff like that for our ordinance. I'd make a motion at this time that we would accept the variance as presented on it.
Okay. Motion by Pillar,
Second.
second by Stern. Discussion.
So is it planning and zoning then, are they the ones that are gonna, I guess, set the fees then?
From now on, I think that's what we should probably do. Yeah.
So then I guess like what's the maximum?
Well, the maximum under what Pat had is it's misdemeanor. And I think that's a little harsh.
And the ordinance does say that every day counts as a separate offense, so that can be up to $100 per day until it's remedied.
That's how the ordinance is written, but so the max can be a lot. I don't know the exact amount, but so I think at least we're doing something to curb it, hopefully. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Tiller. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. 8B, variance consideration from Mr. Cahoon. Dennis. Are we just gonna swap houses?
Yeah.
Why just go stay in the one you're in right now?
We tried
Looks a
that.
lot nicer over there.
Thank you. It's been work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It'll be more work.
I'm
but-
sure.
Yeah, I got an old map there. I believe it's lot 9 in the West Addition there.
Is it right beside your
It's right next to.
son and daughter-in-law, or son-in-law and daughters?
I'm right next to Lonnie Zahn.
Okay.
Planted be Roost Mathias's.
Mm.
So yeah, I'd be one over that one there. Yeah, and I believe it's what, 81 by 130. 131 by 81, something. But anyway, it's a lot we're kind of interested in. Figured before a guy gets carried away, working with a builder right now. If I could come get a variance for, there's 10 feet on each side. And I would like to have a 5-foot to fit my house and garage on there. And he said it ain't a for sure thing, but figured it's a start. And I talked to Lonnie Zahn and Chet Wall about getting their permission, kind of wrote up a little whatever, and they signed and put their address on there. They didn't have a problem with a 5-foot variance if we did purchase the lot.
The only thing is you have to make sure that you're still 15 feet from the other building, the fire code says 20.
Yeah,
So if you're at 5 and they're at 5, that would
no, they're, on both sides, their buildings would be far enough away.
just something.
And like, the nearest thing would be like Lonnie's fence, I think he's right on the lot, but the house and garage, they're way over, and so is
So it's a lot with Monty move over a little bit.
that one there, yeah.
Cause the other is, I didn't think Lonnie's house is on this picture.
No, it's not. It's
And
in
the
this
other
lot.
vacant lot there, right there is where Lonnie's
Wow.
house is.
Oh.
Can you click on that? Did that show the square footage on that when you had
It
that?
did, yes. $10,611.
Yeah. And then it's all, what's the, was it one?
It's 81 feet front foot,
Yeah, and then the length,
and unfortunately it doesn't say that on this.
They're about 140 over here.
So you're still thinking the setback from the front though would be?
yeah,
You would
but
ask a variance there because you know those driveways,
well,
there's a, what is the setback on those, Shannon? Is it 30, 20?
it's 30 or
Then they have
35.
15 foot boulevard over there too.
Yeah, so it's like 40,